Chinatown is a subzone and ethnic enclave located in the Outram area of Singapore's central area. Chinatown has long had a high concentration of ethnic Chinese due to its distinctively Chinese cultural characteristics. Chinatown is a significantly smaller enclave than it formerly was. Nonetheless, the district retains important cultural and historical significance. Large portions of it have been recognized as National Heritage Sites by the Urban Redevelopment Authority for preservation. Singapore's Chinatown is known as Ngo Che Shui in Mandarin, Nga Ch Sui in Cantonese, and Kreta Air in Malay, all of which translate to bullock water cart. During the 19th century, Chinatown's water supply was primarily transported by carts drawn by animals. Chinatown consists of 4 distinctive sub-areas which were developed at different times: Telok Air, developed in the 1820s, Kreta Air, developed in the 1830s, Bukit Paso, developed in early 1900s, Tanjong Pagar, developed in the 1920s. Chinatown Complex is located along Smith Street, which was colloquially known as He Yuan Kai in Cantonese due to its famous Cantonese opera theatre Lai Chun Yuan, which opened in 1887 to serve the Cantonese community there and drew large crowds during the 1910s and 1920s. Chinatown was originally a section of colonial Singapore where Chinese immigrants tended to reside, according to the Raffles Plan of Singapore. Chinatown became overcrowded within decades of Singapore's founding in 1819 and remained so until the 1960s. When many residents were relocated at the initiative of Singapore's Government Housing Development Board, in 1822, Sir Stamford Raffles wrote to Captain C. E. Davis, president of the Town Committee, and entrusted him with proposing and implementing such arrangements for the comfort and safety of the different classes of residents. Raffles provided a general description of Singapore Town, which includes distinct areas such as the government reserved land, the European town and principal commercial establishments, and the native subdivisions and kampungs. These kampungs comprised Bugis, Arab, Indian, Malay, and Chinese settlements. Raffles' instructions were perfectly clear, and his guidelines determined the urban structure of all subsequent development. Raffles anticipated that the Chinese would always constitute the vast majority of the population. For this reason, he appropriated all of the land to the southwest of the Singapore River for their housing, but he insisted that the different classes and provinces be divided into separate quarters. Chinatown's legacy of cultural diversity is still present. Near Chinatown, there were formerly Hokkien merchants on Havelock Road, Telok Air Street, China Street, and Kulia Street, and Teochew merchants are primarily located on Circular Road, River Valley Road, Boat Quay, and South Bridge Road. Cantonese speakers populate South Bridge Road, Upper Cross Street, New Bridge Road, and Bukit Paso Road, among other roads. Former Chinatown residents who spoke Hokkien and Teochew have dispersed to other parts of the island, leaving Cantonese as the dominant dialect group. Pickering Street is known in Chinese as Kian King Kao or No Tai Tian Hock Kiang Kao. Hokkien Thian Hock King Temple is located on Telok Air Street. Teochew Wak Hai Ching Bio Temple is located on Phillip Street. Shang Cho Kiong Temple is located on Amoy Street. Seng Wong Bio Temple is located on Pek Saya Street, and Cantonese Kundi Gong Temple is located on Keong Siak Roadside. In Chinatown, there are guilds, clans, trade unions, and associations known as Kongsi that serve the needs of each Chinese dialect group, such as Cantonese, Hokkien, etc. Other races, such as the Indians who immigrated during the British Raj, also reside in Chinatown. In Chinatown are the Sri Mariamman Hindu Tamil Temple, an important temple for the Tamils, as well as the Alabar Mosque on Telok Air Street and the Jami Mosque on Mosque Street. These places of worship catered to the needs of non-Chinese residents in the area, demonstrating that despite efforts to segregate the early immigrants, they lived side by side in peace. This resulted in the formation of Chinatown as a separate neighborhood. Chinatown's physical development, however, did not commence until after 1843, when land parcels were leased or granted to the public for the construction of houses and shops. The street architecture of Chinatown's buildings, the shophouses especially, combine different elements of Baroque architecture and Victorian architecture and do not have a single classification. Many of them were built in the style of painted ladies, and have been restored in that fashion. These styles result in a variety of different colors of which pastel is most dominant. Trengganu Street, Pagoda Street and Temple Street are such examples of this architecture, as well as development in Upper Cross Street and the houses in Club Street. Boat Quay was once a slave market along the Singapore River. Boat Quay has the most mixed-style shophouses on the island. The Mass Rapid Transit MRT serves the area at Chinatown MRT station on the northeast and downtown lines, in the middle of pedestrian-only Pagoda Street, and serves the vicinity, as well as several public bus routes which integrates it into Singapore's transportation system. Nearby are the Tanjong Pagar MRT station on the east-west MRT line, Outram Park MRT station, an interchange between the East-West Line and Northeast Line, and Clark Quay MRT station on the Northeast Line, as well as a bus terminal called Kampong Baru Bus Terminal. Chinatown is divided between two group representation constituencies, Tanjong Pagar and Jalan Besar, in terms of representation in Parliament. Singapore's first Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew, was a Member of Parliament representing Tanjong Pagar before his death in March 2015. In order to address overcrowding and poor living conditions in the city, all street hawkers were relocated into the newly built Kreta Air complex in 1983, which is today's Chinatown complex, whether you're looking for traditional flavors or crave fusion and experimentation. Chinatown's varied food options will satisfy your hunger. If you're in the mood for hearty hawker food, we suggest visiting hawker centers such as Amoy Street Food Center, Maxwell Food Center, or Chinatown Complex Food Center. Notable is the fact that Singapore's largest hawker center contains over 260 food stalls selling staples such as popiah or spring rolls with vegetables and claypot rice. In addition to being a center of culture and tradition, Chinatown is also a district filled with lively bars where you can socialize over a drink.